I have big news. The Federal Court of Canada has just approved our request to fast-track an urgent lawsuit against Justin Trudeau's Privy Council office for illegally banning our reporters from asking him questions during his daily press conferences. Now, as you know, the courts are closed during the pandemic. Only genuine emergencies and urgent matters are being heard, so we had to apply for special permission for our lawsuit to be classified as urgent. Frankly, I didn't know if we had a chance, but Judge Angela Furlanetto, a special kind of judge called a prothanotary, heard our request by conference call. And there were not one, not two, but three lawyers for Trudeau's government on the other side of the lawsuit. And wouldn't you know it, the court agreed with us. Our entire lawsuit, all the steps and stages, will be done in the next 7 weeks. Normally, a case like ours takes literally years to work its way through the courts. And this isn't just a quick emergency injunction. This is the full process condensed into a month and a half. Affidavits, cross-examination. It's the whole hearing process. So here's the exact wording of her order issued just yesterday. This application shall be heard on July 13, 2020, commencing at 9:30 a.m. for a duration of 3 hours by Zoom video. The parties shall provide a joint proposal as to the steps leading up to the hearing of this matter by no later than May 27, 2020. So it's rolling. This is very exciting. I've asked our lawyers to request that the Zoom trial be made public because normally people can sit in the courtroom and watch. That's how it was at the federal court last October when we sued Trudeau for illegally banning us from the election debates, and we won that one. It's quite an experience sitting right there in the courtroom, but obviously that's not practical for most people even when there is no pandemic. So I think that everyone and anyone will be able to watch this hearing on the internet, just like I will be doing. Mark that in your calendar now. Seriously, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time on July 13th. 3-hour trial. Now, July still sounds like an awfully long time from now, given that they're banning our reporters every single day. Even this very morning, Trudeau's personal staff ordered the RCMP to physically eject our journalist, Cian Bexte, from the press conference in Ottawa. See, Cian has been calling into a special phone number that journalists are invited to use to pose questions to Trudeau. A solid month, Cian has been calling in every day, and Trudeau blocks him every day. Let me read to you from my affidavit in the lawsuit that we filed last night. You can see this whole affidavit and the rest of our lawsuit at letusreport.com. I really encourage you to go there and read our lawsuit for yourself and actually go through my affidavit where I outline Trudeau's misconduct. Let me read from paragraph 24. As of May 22, 2020, PM Trudeau has conducted 58 daily briefings with phone-in questions. The Privy Council has made 217 phone-in selections. Some reporters have been chosen repeatedly, sometimes 2 or 3 days in a row, as follows. Now look at that. Some reporters have been called on 13, 15, 17 times. That is not random. I also note that 5 out of 6 of Trudeau's favorite reporters just happen to be from Quebec. That's where Trudeau himself is from. In fact, 4 media companies have been given 60% of all the phone-in questions, and shocker, 3 out of those 4 companies are Quebec media. Look, I've got no problem with Quebec media.
Quebecers are better than the rest of Canada because, we're Quebecers.
Yeah, we know you feel that way. And the 6th reporter works in Ottawa. I'm just saying, no one from British Columbia or the West or even from Toronto is on that list. It's all Trudeau's little club. No wonder the questions are such softballs. They're his personal friends. They're not going to ask him tough questions. Once, about a month ago, they let someone from a small outlet called the Parvasi Media Group in Toronto to ask 2 questions. So he's from what's traditionally called the ethnic media. So they let him in to the club for 1 day. But take a look. Here's the homepage of the Parvasi Media Group. Their website is literally a huge picture of Justin Trudeau. So yeah, their reporter was given a day pass to come and praise Trudeau. These are not real questions. Their bailout grant applications. Listen to this one. It made me laugh out loud.
You're speaking to us every day. The Deputy Prime Minister is either having meetings or speaking to us. Dr. Tam is speaking to us virtually every day. What are you guys doing to prevent burnout? I mean, there's no way you can continue at this pace. Are you drawing up some sort of rota?
Can you imagine asking Trudeau with a straight face how he's working so hard when he's the only world leader who's staying at home during the crisis? That's what happens when 90% of Canada's media is on the take, either working for the CBC state broadcaster, which gets $1.5 billion a year from Trudeau, or working for a newspaper, which are now dividing up a $600 million bailout for them too. So not a single question by any independent reporters, not one. So Kean got on a plane and flew from Calgary to Ottawa to try and put his question in person. And Trudeau literally directed the police to physically twist his arm behind his back and frog march him off the property. Could you imagine the media party meltdown if Stephen Harper had ordered the police to physically eject a Liberal journalist who hadn't done anything wrong other than try and ask a question? You know, whatever you think of Donald Trump, he lets CNN and the New York Times into his press conferences, and he spars with them every day. He's not a coward about it like Trudeau is. And by the way, we're not actually suing Trudeau himself for not talking to us. As I mentioned, we're suing the Privy Council office because they're the nonpartisan civil service that operates that phone call line the journalists are told to use. If Trudeau is too cowardly to answer our questions after we ask them, that's fine. But for the nonpartisan independent bureaucracy of professional civil servants to discriminate against any reporter based on partisan stripe is simply illegal. It's against the law for the bureaucracy to do Liberal Party errands or Conservative Party errands. Same goes for the RCMP, by the way. So the lawsuit is on. It's a go. I think Judge Furlanetto is right, don't you? It's urgent. Too bad not a single media party journalist thinks the same. They don't support us, but they're not nonpartisan either. They've become advocacy journalists, every one of them. Their journalists union called Unifor actually has a huge super PAC. It's a campaign organization that spends their union dues campaigning for Justin Trudeau in the election. So Trudeau gives journalists a bailout, and journalists campaign for Trudeau with their money. It's just a big cycle. Are you surprised that they're fine with keeping out the handful of independent journalists out of their little club? So that's the news today. We've got an urgent lawsuit on track. I think it's big news. We successfully cleared the first hurdle. The judge agreed that our lawsuit is urgent, and she's already scheduled the 3-hour trial that'll be heard by another judge. Hopefully you'll be able to watch it from the comfort of your own home. We already have submitted some of our legal filings, actually over 800 pages worth, if you're really curious. So that includes my affidavit, which was filed last night. And it has an 11-page sworn statement by me, and then hundreds of pages of factual exhibits, they're called. Like the transcripts of all the media party questions to Trudeau. So many softball questions from his personal friends. Go to letusreport.com if you want some light bedtime reading. So it's on. The battle is on. At least 3 government lawyers will be fighting against us. Last time we sued the feds, in October, they put 5 lawyers on the file, and they billed taxpayers $131,000. We still beat them. I acknowledge that this is an uphill fight, and it's by no means certain that we'll win. But we have a secret weapon. The same 2 young legal eagles who beat Trudeau like a drum back in October, they're on the file for us again. Now, this is going to be a much bigger fight, and Trudeau is going to do anything he can do to win. He was humiliated when he lost the last lawsuit against us. I truly expect Trudeau will spend up to $500,000 of your tax money fighting against us just to stop us from asking him questions. I've asked our lawyers for a rough estimate of how much it'll cost for them to fight. The work they put in so far, plus the next 7 weeks of preparation, plus the trial itself, they have estimated that it will cost approximately $40,000. That's a lot of money. But if you know anything about trials, you know that's actually a pretty reasonable fee. So I'm grateful to our free speech lawyers. They're going to be outspent 10-1 by Trudeau's lawyers. And of course, we have to crowdfund that by ourselves. We certainly won't be getting any help from the Civil Liberties Association or any journalism club. And of course, we don't take any government money. The whole world is on Trudeau's side. He pays the other journalists. They obey him. Look, someone's got to ask real questions. Someone has to defend the public interest, to be skeptical of government power, to challenge the groupthink. Trudeau refuses to take a single question from any independent journalist. He's scared to. He doesn't know what to answer. What's worse is he's corrupted the civil service, turning them into his partisan errand boys. That's the real problem here, and that's what we're asking the federal court to stop yet again. Please visit letusreport.com to read all the details. And while you're there, please help me crowdfund the $40,000 I'm going to need to hold Trudeau to account. We live in a free country. Journalists shouldn't have to go to court to be able to attend a press conference, but it's come to that. If you can help out, whether it's $5 or $500, I'd sure appreciate it. It feels like we're doing this for everyone, not just for ourselves. This is for freedom in the press, for all media. But we're there in court alone. Please be there with us, at least morally. Go to letusreport.com. Trudeau has paid off the mainstream media, and any journalist who doesn't take his money is now banned from his press conferences. We're suing to stop that illegal discrimination. If you can help us crowdfund our lawsuit, now scheduled as an urgent legal matter, go to letusreport.com. Thanks.